I've been waiting to respond to this, and I have time today. So I'm going to address a false narrative being pushed by a certain group of people. Desperate Haney fanboys create false narrative Matias is ducking him. So I've seen people who must something must have gotten lost in translation. As we know, Subriel Matias speaks Spanish. He attempts to speak in English and speaks Spanglish when he gets to certain things that is difficult for him to say. But people have taken bits and pieces of what he said and ran to spin a narrative, which is classic, typical of Devin Haney's fan base. So we're going to bring things back to reality. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an interview of Subriel Matias. Listen to what he says during this interview, and then I'm going to go to the interview that people are using to try to spin this narrative that Subriel is ducking Devin Haney. All right. And then we'll dive into some more stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at at Subriel Matias give his opinion of Devin Haney. So this video appears courtesy of Fight Hype TV. FightHype.com. Subscribe to Fight Hype.
All right, Hans Thomas, FightHype.com with Subriel Matias, IBF 140-pound champ. Can I get your thoughts on Devin Haney possibly moving up to fight Regis Prograis?
I want this fight. I like Devin Haney in this fight.
You think Devin's gonna beat Regis?
Yeah, I think he got good technical, but he not got heart.
What makes you say he doesn't have heart, man?
Es manero. He's chicken. He's running a lot.
Gotcha.
Devin Haney, I want to fight you. Please give me the opportunity.
All right, so let me take that, rewind it back.
Gotcha.
Devin Haney, I want to fight you. Please give me the opportunity.
Okay, so I want you to take a look at this. This is 8 months ago. 8 months ago, before Devin Haney fought Regis Prograis. He's saying Devin's a chicken, he runs a lot, and he wants to fight Devin Haney. He said, Devin, please give me the opportunity to fight you. It's a straight, flat out call out. And he says Devin's a chicken. He runs a lot. He expresses no worries or fears about Devin Haney. So we'll continue to listen to what else transpired during this interview 8 months ago by FightHype.com.
If I know you said you want to fight Devin, do you think that'll be your biggest fight at 140 pounds, man?
Nah. I think the weight he got more competition. He presented in the way, so I think he not got good power for the pound.
If Regis,
so there you could see what I mean about things getting lost in translation. In the end, he said he doesn't think that Devin Haney has good power for the pounds. What he's saying is he doesn't think that Devin Haney is a puncher, and he doesn't think that he will have good punching power at 140. That's what he was saying. But again, you saw him trying to put the sentence together, and even if you're not familiar with someone who speaks broken English, it probably still would have been difficult for you to decipher what he was trying to say during that exchange. All right, we'll continue to listen to the rest of this interview.
End up losing. Are you going to be upset about that? Because I know you're the one that really wanted to fight Regis. You said you wanted to put him in the hospital. Are you going to be upset that you didn't get that opportunity, man?
So if you didn't hear that, he asked Subriel, would you be mad if you don't get the opportunity to fight Regis? Because I know you really wanted to fight Regis. You said you want to put him in the hospital. So just take this note to the bank. 8 months ago, it was well known by people who actually paid attention to Subriel Matias 8 months ago that he wanted to fight Regis Prograis. And he's been saying he was going to put Regis Prograis in the hospital. This isn't some new narrative that he just created a few weeks ago to attempt to duck Devin. He wanted Regis before Devin got him. But Devin was the one who got the Regis fight. Just like there were plenty of people who wanted to fight George Kambosos before, around the time Devin got the fight. They just selected Devin, and Regis selected Devin over Subriel for a reason. George Kambosos selected Devin over many other suitors for a reason. And we're going to jump into that a little bit later. But keep this in mind. Regis chose to fight Devin Haney rather than unify with Subriel Matias. George Kambosos chose Devin Haney over some of the other fighters at 135 who were looking for an opportunity to fight him for undisputed. Well, disputed, undisputed at the time, because Devin was the email champion. So listen to his response.
Lo que pasa es que como él va a pelear con Prograis, entiendo que va a perder. ¿Sabes? Es mi opinión personal.
Te pregunto que a ti te gusta Prograis, tú tenías a game.
Well, I was saying, if Regis does end up losing that fight, would he be upset about it? Because I know he really wanted to fight Regis.
Well, he said that he think Haney gonna win that fight.
Did you watch Haney's last fight against Lomachenko?
So listen to this. Again, I want you to gauge the credibility of these fighters from these interviews that I'm going to show you. Gauge the credibility of the fighters. Look at their body language. Look at the way they're reacting when they answer the question. So listen to the way that Subriel is responding. Listen to the way that he's answering the questions, and see if you feel like he's joking or playing around. Compare it to Devin when he mentioned Subriel's name. When Devin mentioned Subriel's name, it doesn't seem real. Like he's stuttering. If I got to, it sounds like a bad impression of Floyd Money Mayweather, but he's very serious. Look at, he's not joking. He's not playing around. He predicts that he thinks Devin Haney is going to beat Regis Prograis. So there's, what can you say? He's being honest. He wants to put Regis in the hospital. They ask him. He said, "Nah, I think Devin's going to beat him." And so we'll continue to listen.
Did you watch Devin Haney's last fight against Loma?
Yes.
Who did you think won that fight?
I think Lomachenko.
So do you think that Haney should move up, or do you think that he should give Loma a rematch?
Bueno, para que le demuestre al público debería de tomar la revancha, pero quizás no haga el peso bien.
Need to fight Lomachenko, showing everybody that he won the last fight.
Gotcha.
So notice how he asked Subriel the question in English, and Subriel didn't need a translation for what he asked him, but Subriel answered in Spanish. That's because he's able to understand what people are asking him. He knows enough English to assess what people are asking him, but he doesn't know enough to respond to the question, to all questions in English. So he responds in Spanish to his translator, and the translator explains what he just said. And he said he thinks that Devin should give Vasily Lomachenko a rematch because he thought Loma won. Well, no surprise. I think Loma won as well. So I do think that if Devin was, doing the right thing, he would give Vasily Lomachenko a rematch, but he doesn't do that. So again, those are some things you have to consider. And as you can see, he's being sincere. He's being honest. He's not making up anything. But again, this is what I'm talking about, the dynamics between translation and when you have people who speak two different languages, or someone who has English as a second language and they're trying to communicate, and sometimes things can get lost in translation. All right, so let's continue to listen to this.
Think about a possible fight between yourself and Rolly, man. He's a big hitter, talks a lot.
All right, so this is when he gets into Rolly, so we can be done with this one. So recently, Subriel Matias gave an interview, and during that interview, Subriel said this right here. Just give me a second to pull this up. Yeah, Subriel made a statement. Now, here's what I want you to see. This guy, who's clearly a member of the Devin Haney brigade, he posts this. It says Subriel showing no interest in a future Devin Haney fight. He's talking about pay-per-view numbers like he's some sort of draw. All right. Let's listen to what Subriel actually said, and then we'll jump in.
And I got a mention for Haney. Haney, don't mention my name. And the chicken father, Bill Haney, don't talking shit, please. Dile que se enfoque en vender en esta pelea. Que las últimas peleas que él ha hecho en pay-per-view, que tenemos el resumen, y él no vende. Si con Ryan García, que vendió con el Bond 1 millón, él no vende ni 500, dile que se puede retirar. And I got a
All right. So if you listen to what he said, stop mentioning my name. Focus on your pay-per-view numbers with Ryan Garcia. He never said that's the summary of it. And I'm not saying that I'm fluent in Spanish, but I never heard him say during that translation or during this clip that he's not interested in a fight with Devin Haney, that he wouldn't want to fight Devin Haney. I heard him say that Devin should focus on his fight with Ryan and stop saying his name, which is what everyone says when someone has a fight lined up. At this very moment, Devin Haney has Ryan Garcia lined up, and he's just mentioning Subriel's name capping. Remember, this is the same team that said, "Oh, we called Peter Khan, and Subriel didn't want no smoke," and then they got exposed. They got exposed trying to spin a narrative. Got exposed. Peter Khan has nothing to do with Subriel. They never spoke to Subriel's team, and so then they had to start trying to save face and try to cover up. So to try to make it look good, Devin's sitting around talking about, "Oh yeah, I might have to fight Subriel Matias." It mentioned his name like twice. And Subriel's like saying, stop mentioning my name and focus on Ryan. What he's saying is, don't mention my name when you already have a fight lined up with Ryan. Don't mention my name when I already have a fight lined up with Liam Perro. Mention my name when we're both free and we can make this fight happen. Everyone knows Subriel has a fight coming up with Liam Perro. And everyone knows that Devin Haney is slated to fight Ryan Garcia next week. So he said, focus on your pay-per-view numbers. That's a dig at Devin. He's saying, Devin, your pay-per-view numbers are so trash, you still haven't released what you did against Regis Prograis. And Regis Prograis just gave an interview where he said he was supposed to get some money off the back end of the pay-per-view sales, and he got zero. Look, everyone knows that Devin didn't sell nothing. We talk about the David Benavidez 60, which I am president of the David Benavidez 60 Club. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But Devin, rumors are he did about 30 to 55,000 pay-per-view buys, which is abysmal. So anyone trying to act like Devin's a draw, he said Subriel acting like he's a draw. There's more interest around Subriel Matias right now than there is around Devin Haney. Why? He has a more fan-friendly style. 2, he made his last 5 opponents quit. And we're talking about undefeated fighters. 3, he got a body in the ring. There's always interest in someone who has a body in the ring. And 4, his contemporaries, his peers show fear in fighting him, which I'm going to get to in a second. But we're going to look at how one of their contemporaries, one of their peers, speaks about Devin and speaks about Subriel, and we'll assess his credibility. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, you got to watch for these spin doctors trying to spin a narrative. Okay, why is Devin mentioning Subriel when he's supposed to fight Ryan Garcia next week? Why is he mentioning Subriel? Why didn't he start mentioning Subriel until Subriel had a fight lined up? When Subriel was free and he could negotiate to be the one fighting Subriel next, he didn't mention Subriel's name. It wasn't until Subriel announced the fight with Liam Perro that he started mentioning his name. Just like it wasn't until it was well known within boxing circles that Subriel was injured that Tio sent him a contract. These dudes are playing a slick game because they're doing enough to appease their fan base who's looking to spin any little thing. Talking about Subriel duck Devin. Does Devin seem like a fighter people would duck? Remember, Kambosos chose him. Could have picked anyone in the world, but he chose Devin. Why? Because he saw Devin as pillow fist and less of a risk than, say, Teofimo Lopez. But Teo didn't want the rematch. So that's on Teo. But I'm saying he saw Devin as less of a risk than some of the other people. And Vasily couldn't get the fight because Vasily had to handle business what was going on in the Ukraine. But he could have fought Tank. He didn't want Tank. So this is what I'm saying. People are picking Devin for a reason. Ryan Garcia could have picked other people. He picked Devin. If he thought that Subriel was an easy lick towards a title, Ryan will fight Subriel. Because remember, although Subriel doesn't have a name, Regis didn't have a name. That shows in the pay-per-view sales. That's why Devin's pay-per-view sales still haven't been released to this day. Because Regis wasn't a draw. Regis was just a sweet lick, and everyone knows that. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. Some people may have been fooled. I had some Devin Haney fans try to tell me, oh, Regis is a real threat. I said it's going to be a complete domination. Oh, you're disrespecting Regis. Then later on, after Regis washed them, they had to come back like, yeah, you was right. Like, come on, man. Y'all want to overrate and hype up Devin Haney's opponents. But he has never been in a ring with a real killer. Okay? And now that Subriel is contractually obligated to fight Liam Perro, now he wants to sit around and act like, oh, I might have to take on Subriel. Come on, bro. And let's not act like Liam Perro isn't a more dangerous fight than Ryan Garcia. That's the next thing that y'all got to be real with. I know that Liam Perro may not have the name recognition because he doesn't do the shoe shine on Twitter. And he doesn't have that following, that social media following, but those in boxing circles know, just like Ergashev. Those in boxing circles know Ergashev was the real deal. Nobody was lining up to fight Ergashev. Ergashev and Subriel were those are two brutal guys, and there's still people. I think Coach Kenny was saying how Ergashev is still dangerous, saying that the way Subriel did Ergashev, he was like, Subriel's for real, because they know. So, anyways, let's go to the next thing that they try to take and then use to spin their narrative. So, this is what Subriel Matias had to say to Regis Prograis.
Yo, Prograis, when you see this video, this interview, please give me the opportunity to show the world. I'm gonna send you to the hospital after the fight. Me. Please give me the opportunity. I'm gonna send you to the hospital, and you know it.
All right, so you heard there. He said to Regis again, give me the opportunity to fight you. I'm going to send you to the hospital. This is the hook, the spin that the Devin Haney fanboys put on this. One, him telling Devin to stop using his name to try to sell his fight with Ryan Garcia because he's lined up to fight Ryan. Focus on your fight with Ryan. Focus on your pay-per-view sales with Ryan. And then him speaking directly to Regis Prograis saying, please give me the opportunity to fight you. I'm going to put you in the hospital. They made it look like it was an attempt for him to duck Devin and sideswipe Devin to go at Regis. But I just showed you 8 months ago, he wanted Regis before Devin even got him. And he still said, Regis, I want to fight you. I'm going to put you in the hospital. Then they said to him, who does he think is going to win the fight? He said, I think Devin's going to win the fight. But he still wanted to fight Regis and put him in the hospital. Sounds like he just doesn't like Regis, right? Sounds like what we want in the sport of boxing. I don't like him. I want to fight him. I'm going to put him in the hospital. That's what you like it when Benavidez does it to Canelo. So that's what he's doing. He's calling out the guy he doesn't like. He still wants to fight him. Doesn't mean he doesn't want to fight Devin. Him telling Devin to focus on his pay-per-view numbers doesn't mean that he doesn't want to fight Devin. He's saying that because they still got seats available. They still haven't sold out the Barclays, and he still hasn't released his pay-per-view numbers with Regis. And he's saying it's questionable that Devin and Ryan Garcia will do $500,000. Which, by the way, let's say they do fail to do $500,000. After Ryan Garcia is coming off of doing 1.2 with Tank, who do you blame for the sales being abysmal? Do you blame Ryan or do you blame Devin? Now, this is what I'm saying. But y'all want to create this narrative that Devin is some big superstar, some big draw. They won't even accept the fact that the numbers weren't released. Let's play this game, or let's play this reality, or let's throw this dose of reality in your face. If Devin broke over 1 million pay-per-view buys fighting Regis Prograis, do you think they would have released the numbers? Rhetorical. We know the answer is yes. That would have been what they needed to promote Devin. That would have been proof to substantiate the claim that not only is he the number one in some people's eyes, but he's also a draw. That would have helped him. It would have been a negotiation bargaining chip against Javonte Davis. You did 1.2 with Ryan Garcia, who's more popular than Regis, and I sold 1 million with Regis, and you know I was the A side. And you know that everyone came to see me. But we know he didn't even come close. So the fact that they didn't release the pay-per-view numbers, why do you think they wouldn't release the pay-per-view numbers? In addition to that additional evidence, Regis said he was told the fight didn't do well. So the percentage he was going to get off of the pay-per-view was 0. 0, bro. So if Regis got 0 off the pay-per-view, you mean to tell me Devin got some money off the pay-per-view that didn't do well? Like, I'm telling you, the Devin Haney fanboys, they live in a fake world where reality doesn't exist. So now, for me, this is how you know what's real. The man who actually earned a shot to fight Subriel Matias and challenge him for his title, which is the whole purpose of being mandatory. The whole purpose of fighting for mandatory is so you can get a shot at the champion and take his belt. Well, Richardson Hitchens did that. He did that. And when he had the opportunity, or when they said to Richardson Hitchens, you now can fight Subriel Matias. You've earned the right to fight Subriel Matias. We're going to listen to what Richardson Hitchens had to say. This is after Richardson Hitchens won and had the opportunity to fight Subriel Matias. So he won the fight. He had the opportunity to fight Subriel Matias. Let's listen to what Richardson Hitchens said.
Who would you want next if you could line up 3 opponents in order?
I feel like after this fight, just go back to the drawing board, see who's available. I think that still maybe one more fight before going for a world title, to get some more experience. That was a great learning experience. I just felt like, since being with my manager, Keith, and being with Eddie, this was my first real active year. You know what I'm saying? So
let me stop that. When he says maybe one more fight before going to world title, he's not talking about Devin Haney. Because in the ring, he was dancing around Subriel, but then he said, and you can go pull up his post-fight interview. I'm not going to pull up the post-fight interview for copyright purposes, but you can go listen to it yourself. He said, but I'll fight for WBC next. He said, I'm considering the IBF, but I'll definitely fight for the WBC next if I get the opportunity. So he's saying, basically, he wants another fight before he gets at Subriel. But he's willing to fight Devin. This is the dude. This is the guy who matters the most because he is Subriel's mandatory, and he's willing to forego it because he doesn't want to fight Subriel. This speaks louder than words. This is a contemporary. This is a peer. This is someone who's in the same business that they're in, who has the opportunity to fight for a title against Subriel Matias, and he doesn't want to take it. Let's continue to listen to what he had to say.
I haven't really been active like all the other guys, so I'm really still getting the experience. And from day one, all I asked Eddie and my managers, like, yo, keep me active so I could get the experience, because I'm still kind of playing catch up. Like guys like Devin and all these guys, they've been in tough fights with guys like Jojo Diaz, Lomachenko when I was like inactive. So now I'm kind of getting my feet wet and kind of going through it now. So I feel like maybe one more fight and then a world championship, but it really doesn't matter. I'll go for a world title my next fight. I just feel like I'm still shaking, like, some ring rust off, still getting my feet wet and still settling it in as a professional. I only had 17 fights tonight.
Do you feel like this kind of fight prepares you for a fight against like Matias?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was 2 different styles. Matias is more relentless than that guy. That guy was relentless. I feel like the guy's more. He's probably more. Yeah, he's relentless, but he's probably more explosive than Matias. But Matias is more like busy. Yeah, Matias is more busy. So I feel like it's just both of them fights will test me mentally. That definitely is like a fight that helped me get ready to be mentally ready. I don't feel like a lot of the other guys at 140 really fought a style like that. Not Tio, not Devin. I never seen them fight a guy that was so relentless and strong and explosive like that. And I felt like I showed grit tonight.
So you heard what he said. he spoke about the difficulty of fighting a pressure fighter, as I've been trying to explain, especially for people who are slick boxers who don't like to get hit and like to be in control of everything. And he spoke about how he doesn't think Devin or Tio have fought a guy like Lemos, but you heard him admit earlier, Subriel's more relentless and throws more punches than Lemos. And we all know that Lemos most likely got robbed. So now you hear him saying that he knows how he's acknowledging he was in a difficult fight with Lemos, and he's acknowledging that Subriel is even more dangerous than that. Does he seem like someone who's dishonest? Does he seem like someone who's not credible? Does he seem like someone who's not speaking the real? Okay. And this isn't new, because I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you an interview from Hitchens, and this is after his fight with Lemos, but I'm going to show you an interview before his fight with Lemos where he was saying the same thing, where he was basically saying that he would not want to step in the ring with Subriel Matias, especially under the IBF rules. So actually, I don't have here it is right here. Let's take a look. And this video appears courtesy of YSM Sport. Subscribe to YSM Sport. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. All right, here we go.
The perspective of everybody is that Subriel Matias is getting ducked.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Richardson Hitchens willing to just hop in there with him?
I've been said before Subriel Matias became champion, before I even knew he was ranked for the IBF belt, I said that I wasn't fighting for the IBF belt. If it was a duck, it sounds like an excuse, but it's just the honest truth. You got guys like Ryan Garcia that's making excuses because he couldn't rehydrate over 10 pounds. I'm not about to lose to no guy because I ain't coming in my best. And then the world got everything else to say about it. I think Subriel Matias is a dangerous fighter at the 140 division. And I want to be at my best. And I'm going to keep saying that. And it is what it is.
So you heard what he said. Again, does Hitchens not seem like a credible guy? Does he seem like he's making? No, he's admitting he doesn't want to fight with the rehydration clause. He thinks Subriel is dangerous, and he wants to be at his best. This is a contemporary, a peer, someone who's in line to fight Subriel next, saying, I'm not going to take that opportunity right now. I want another fight before I do that. And you hear him months ago saying, I think Subriel's dangerous. I think Subriel's dangerous, and I want to be at my best when I fight Subriel Matias. Let's listen to what he says about Devin Haney. Let's listen to what this same guy, this contemporary, this peer, this guy who's been brutally honest to a fault, even against himself, who's saying, look, I'm not ready for Subriel. I don't want Subriel under these conditions. His style is going to test me mentally. This guy who's being brutally honest, even when it's against his best interests, says this about Devin Haney.
He's not a champion. I'm like, oh, like as if he earned what he did. He fought Kambosos. He caught a lick. Everybody knew Kambosos was a lick. Fought Lomachenko, and in a sweat, in a fight that was super close. If he was a true champion, he would have given Lomachenko his rematch. That's what he should have did. But he ran up and fought Regis Prograis. Everybody know Regis is a bum. Everybody know that. Devin knows that. People that have been in the ring with Regis sparring knows that. I know that. And now when he's at 140, he has it. Like I said, he have a great relationship with Eddie. Why not? If I'm hating, if I'm this and I'm all that, why not come shut me up? He's not a champion. I'm like, oh.
So here's a few things I want you to see. So one, he says he's not a champion, and I'm like, we know who the champion that he's like, is. It's Subriel Matias, because he's been saying how he doesn't want to fight him. And even when he earns the opportunity to be his mandatory, he doesn't want to take it. Listen to what he says.
He's not a champion. I'm like, oh, like as if he earned what he did. He fought Kambosos. He caught a lick. Everybody knew Kambosos was a lick. Fought Lomachenko, and in a sweat, in a fight that was super close. If he was a true champion, he would have given Lomachenko his rematch.
You see what he's saying? He's calling out just straight facts. Now, again, this is a dude who's been extremely honest to a fault, and someone who I find credible based on that. I don't feel like he's spinning a narrative or an agenda. But here's something he says that lets you know what it is.
That's what he should have did. But he ran up and fought Regis Prograis. Everybody know Regis is a bum. Everybody know that. Devin knows that. People that been in the ring with Regis sparring knows that. I know that. And now when he's at 140, he has, like I said, he have a great relationship with Eddie. Why not? If I'm hating, if I'm this and I'm all that, why not come shut me up? He's.
If I'm hating and all that, why not come shut me up? He wants the Devin fight. Compared to what he says about Devin to how he speaks about Subriel. This is a contemporary. This isn't a YouTube channel. This isn't a fanboy. This isn't someone with bias. This is someone who has to make the best decisions for their career, the best decisions for their health, the best decisions for their family, for their bank account. Wants no parts of Subriel, but wants to fight Devin. This isn't no fanboy-ish. This isn't my opinion. People who are objective can see that. This is the reality. The guy who earned the right to be Subriel's mandatory doesn't want it enforced, doesn't want to activate it, doesn't want to see Subriel. He'd rather fight Devin. He'd rather fight Devin. And don't give me the rehydration clause, because Punch Drunk made a great point about it. Punch Drunk said to Hitchens, he said, if you're going to be at your best with no rehydration clause, what do you think that's going to do for Subriel? Subriel has to adhere to the same rehydration clause. So it kills him as well. So now you tell Subriel you can make weight and rehydrate as much as you want. How much more dangerous do you think that makes Subriel? So yeah, you're at your best, but now Subriel's at his best, which may be even worse for you. It's nothing to do with a rehydration clause. It has everything to do with the fact this dude doesn't want to fight Subriel and he wants to fight Devin. And again, I'm not showing this to you because of copyright purposes, but you should go and look at his post-fight interview. He says it. I'm not sure if I'm going to fight for the IBF next, but I will fight for the WBC next. This is a contemporary. This is a peer. This is a current boxer who has the right to fight Subriel, who's not going to activate it, but really wants to fight Devin instead. So I ask you, is Devin really as dangerous as they try to make him seem? Is he really the boogeyman like they try to make him seem? Is this me making it up? Is this me fanboying? Or is this just based on actual facts and reality? I showed you the evidence. They're spinning a narrative on a dude who has English as a second language and does his best to try to switch between Spanglish. To be like, oh, he's afraid of Devin. When has Devin ever sent over a fair contract? And by fair, I mean that he's not hurt. He's not locked into another fight. They're both free and they're negotiating in good faith. In contracts, there's this thing, negotiating in good faith. In order for a contract to be legally binding, it has to be done in good faith. There's a lot of other elements that are involved with it, but good faith. Do you really think that they're negotiating with Subriel in good faith? So to wrap this all up, the narrative that Subriel Matias is ducking Devin Haney is absolute trash. You saw the real. It's desperation to try to spin. It's desperation to try to promote Devin as something he is not. Devin Haney has got some good wins, but he's been very fortunate in those wins, okay? Especially the Vasily Lomachenko win. He was fortunate to get the opportunity to fight Kambosos because if we're being real, if Teofimo Lopez didn't come out like a wild madman in the first round, he probably would have beaten Kambosos. He got dropped. He got hurt, had to recover, came back on in the fight, dropped Kambosos, and did all that. So if he would have just fought like the Teofimo Lopez, like he did every other fight prior to that, we probably wouldn't even be talking about this. So, you know, I don't want to take no credit away from Kambosos because he was prepared for the moment. But Teofimo Lopez fought a dumb strategy that hurt him. And if he would have fought differently, he probably would have won. But I could say the same thing about Vasily Lomachenko when he fought Teo because he gave away the first 5 or 6 rounds and he didn't start fighting until later. And then in the 12th round, when to me on my scorecard, the fight was on the line, Teo took it. just like Devin took it when he was fighting Devin. So Vasily got to figure out this 12-round stuff. And I don't know why he thinks that, or in his mind, he puts himself up that he's so ahead he can give away the 12th round. No, you need every round. And I think he knows that now. And we'll see what happens with Kambosos. But when it comes to this, that whole Subriel, Matias, Duck, and Devin is cap. And anyone pushing that agenda is a Devin Haney channel, Devin Haney fanboy, ties to Devin Haney, which I'm not knocking him for it, but I'm just saying you got to read between the lines because boxers aren't the only ones who get hooked, if you know what I'm saying. All right. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm out. Peace.